What if Kobe Bryant wasn't traded to the Lakers on draft night? Would he still end up with 5 championship rings in his career and end up in the GOAT debate? Well, on NBA 2K24, these questions will be put to the test, so stay tuned. In Kobe Bryant's first year in the NBA, he averaged 15.4 points per game as well as 4 assists per game as the Hornets starting shooting guard, a very solid season to start out Kobe Bryant's career as a Charlotte Hornet. The Hornets had a 48-34 record on the year as they were the 4th seed taking on the 5th seed Milwaukee Bucks in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Kobe only averaged 13 points per game in the NBA playoffs in his playoffs debut as the Charlotte Hornets fell to the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. Despite not winning a championship, it was a great start to Kobe Bryant's NBA career. In Kobe's second year, it featured a big showdown versus Michael Jordan, both where they scored 30 points in a game against one another. The Bulls came away with the victory that night, but that didn't mean that Kobe Bryant didn't show up. He was able to show off his skills to Michael Jordan as well as to the rest of the NBA world, showing that he's able to improve in his second year and his greatness ahead of him for the rest of his NBA career. Kobe Bryant made his first All-Star game this season as well, hopefully the first of many. Here's a bucket he scored in the All-Star game where he scored 12 points. During the season, he averaged 19 points as well as 5 assists per game in year number 2 as the Hornets were the 7th seed this season, going 40-42, which was a step back from the previous season. His own numbers improved though, and with his success this season, I expect Kobe Bryant's numbers to improve even more in year number 3. It was no easy matchup for Kobe in the playoffs in the first round, as he would have to be guarding the crafty Allen Iverson from the Philadelphia 76ers. Kobe Bryant did his best in this series here, but Allen Iverson appeared to be too much for the Charlotte Hornets, averaging 26 points per game through his first 2. Kobe had the Hornets' destiny in his hands, and with a big shot there, he won them Game 3, putting them down 2-1 in the series. Despite Kobe's best efforts, the Charlotte Hornets fell to the Philadelphia 76ers in the 1997-1998 NBA playoffs. Hopefully next year will be better for Kobe Bryant and the Charlotte Hornets. In Kobe's third year, he made the All-Star team once again, scoring now up to 21 points per game. Unfortunately though for the Hornets, they were unable to make the playoffs, finishing at 33-49 as the 9th seed. Although Kobe Bryant did score 22 points per game this year, the Hornets were unable to get the job done, unable to make the playoffs. In the 1990-2000 season, Kobe took a huge step forward in his career, averaging 28 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists, while also winning the MVP this year. He was also named to the All-NBA First Team as the Hornets were the 4th seed out in the Eastern Conference, going 52-32. This is Kobe's biggest step in his career so far. This step was absolutely remarkable, and now the entire basketball world knew how well Kobe Bryant was at the game of basketball. The Hornets were taking on the Washington Bullets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. It was a tough matchup for both teams here. Kobe Bryant, of course, doing his best to put the Hornets on top over the Washington Bullets. It was not an easy matchup for either team, leading to an eventual Game 5 between these two squads. Kobe hit a huge 3 towards the end of the ball game here, but the Bullets were not done, not giving up in this ball game at all. Kobe Bryant hit a cutting Eddie Jones for the layup, which put the Charlotte Hornets up by 2 with only 5 seconds left to go in the ball game. The Bullets on the other end missed a go-ahead winning 3-point shot, which meant that the Charlotte Hornets have defeated the Washington Bullets. Playing against Jordan and the Bulls in the regular season was one thing, but now playing against the Bulls in the NBA playoffs was a whole different scenario that the Charlotte Hornets clearly were not ready for. The Hornets lost to the Michael Jordan-led Chicago Bulls in only 5 games. Kobe Bryant did exceptional in the series, averaging 23 points per game against Jordan and the Bulls. But unfortunately for the Charlotte Hornets, it clearly wasn't enough, as the Bulls and Michael Jordan's clear experience led the Chicago Bulls to victory. Once again, the Hornets were faced with that familiar feeling of being eliminated in the NBA playoffs. The Hornets went 67-15 on the season, which is absolutely incredible. With the help of teammate Jamal Mashburn now on the squad, Kobe Bryant's game went up to the next level, averaging 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists per game this year. In the first round of the NBA playoffs, the Charlotte Hornets were taking on Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors. Obviously a very tough matchup once again for Kobe, as he had to be guarding Vince Carter one-on-one. Vince Carter was very dominant throughout the series, trying to carry the Raptors on his back with his incredible performances throughout the series, averaging 31 points. But unfortunately for him, it wasn't enough. The Hornets were able to get the job done, as the Hornets were heading on to the next round, where they would be taking on Tracy McGrady and the Orlando Magic. Again, a very tough matchup for Kobe Bryant there. Kobe versus T-Mac was definitely must-see TV. In the series, Kobe Bryant was absolutely incredible, of course, averaging 32 points per game in the series to try and blow out T-Mac and the Orlando Magic. But T-Mac definitely wasn't letting up either, averaging 29 points per game in this series himself, trying to put the Magic on his back. Unfortunately for T-Mac, the Hornets were able to pull away and win in 5 games. Next round, Kobe and the Charlotte Hornets were taking on the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Again, this was not going to be an easy matchup by any means there, as the Milwaukee Bucks were headed by Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Glenn Robinson. Obviously, Kobe wants to go to the NBA Finals for the first time in his NBA career, but the Bucks were in the way of that goal. Ray Allen in the series against the Charlotte Hornets averaged 23 points per game, but Kobe Bryant was able to average 27 points per game against Ray Allen. And now Kobe Bryant had the chance to play in his first ever NBA Finals thanks to his exceptional play in the series against the Milwaukee Bucks, with the help of Jamal Mashburn. And now the Hornets found themselves in the NBA Finals, where they'd be matched up against Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, of course, Dirk and Steve Nash want to win their first ring together. Let's see if they can get the job done. Kobe opened up the finals with a bang, quite literally a huge posterizer slam dunk right there that had the whole NBA world talking. But Dirk Nowitzki didn't let that get in the way of his performance, as Dirk dropped 41 points there in game number 1 against the Charlotte Hornets. Dirk and the Mavs took game 1, but Kobe and the Hornets did not give up at all. Steve Nash did exceptional as well for the Dallas Mavericks in the series, averaging 18 points and 10 assists, but it was going to be the Charlotte Hornets coming out on top in the NBA Finals, defeating the Dallas Mavericks in 5 games. Absolutely incredible performance by the Charlotte Hornets. Kobe Bryant actually averaged 35 points this series, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and of course he is extremely happy winning his first ever NBA championship. The Dallas Mavericks, of course, on the other end are very upset, but Kobe Bryant wins his first ever NBA championship right there. That's going to be a moment that he, as well as the Charlotte Hornets, his family is never ever going to forget. And with those numbers he put up as well in the series, Kobe Bryant was named the NBA Finals MVP, the first of hopefully many in the young career of Kobe Bryant. Kobe enjoyed the moment of winning his first ever NBA championship, but he only had one goal in mind for next year, and that was to go out and win another. Now the 2001-2002 season, the Hornets had another year of success, going 64-18 as the first seed. Kobe Bryant averaged 29 points per game this year, once again carrying the Hornets to the first seed out in the Eastern Conference. The Hornets were taking on the Detroit Pistons in the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Pistons were led by Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, and Ben Wallace. Kobe Bryant did really well in the NBA playoffs this season, averaging 32 points in the first round against the Detroit Pistons. Hamilton did really well for the Pistons as well, averaging 28 points per game in the first round of the playoffs there, but unfortunately for the Pistons it wasn't enough, as the Hornets win in 5 games over the Detroit Pistons. Next round, the Hornets took on the Indiana Pacers, and they were no match for the Charlotte Hornets at all, as Kobe Bryant and the Hornets took a clean sweep over the Indiana Pacers. They were now taking on the Toronto Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals there, a matchup against Vince Carter once again. Vince Carter was absolutely killer, as well as Kobe, as they traded dunks on opposite ends of the field. Kobe Bryant was up to 34 points per game in this series, and Vince Carter literally could not do anything to stop Kobe Bryant. He was getting buckets on every single possession here, and Vince Carter did very well, of course, but Kobe Bryant and the Charlotte Hornets were able to defeat the Toronto Raptors there in the Eastern Conference Finals, meaning that they were heading back to the NBA Finals now in back-to-back years. Carter and the Raptors put up their best effort, but they were unable to beat the Charlotte Hornets. They were now taking on the Sacramento Kings in the NBA Finals there, with Mike Bibby on the roster, of course. And just like last year, it was going to be a very tough matchup for Kobe Bryant and the Hornets as a whole up against the Sacramento Kings. Kobe Bryant did really well once again this series. He literally could not be stopped this entire playoff run. The Kings, though, were very, very exceptional in this series, as the series was tied 2-2 after 4 games between the Charlotte Hornets and the Sacramento Kings. Kobe Bryant, though, was able to put the nail in the coffin there. In an eventual Game 6 back at home in Charlotte, the Charlotte Hornets won the NBA Finals once again. Kobe Bryant was so thrilled, of course, and now Kobe Bryant and the Charlotte Hornets were back-to-back NBA champions. It's never easy to go out there and even win one NBA championship, but now Kobe Bryant and the Hornets were able to do that in back-to-back years, and of course, due to Kobe's exceptional play throughout the playoffs and of course here in the NBA Finals, Kobe Bryant was named Finals MVP, becoming a member of a very short list of players to win 2 Finals MVPs. But Kobe Bryant and the Hornets were not done yet. In the 2002-2003 season, the Hornets became the New Orleans Hornets this season, and Kobe of course wanted to put on a show for fans. He won MVP again this year, averaging 35, 8, and 6, putting up an exceptional season and taking his game to a whole new level. The Hornets found themselves in the NBA Finals once again, taking on Shaq and the Los Angeles Lakers as they went for a three-peat. Kobe Bryant did really well in this series, but as did Shaquille O'Neal, as the Hornets had no answer for him at all. Of course, on the other end though, the Lakers had no answer for Kobe Bryant, who seemed to be getting a bucket on every single possession down the court. Shaq though, of course, was getting his own buckets on the other end, the Hornets having no answer for him at all. Despite Shaq's best effort to help the Lakers win an NBA championship, they were unable to get the job done as the Hornets end up winning once again, meaning that Kobe Bryant and the Charlotte Hornets have now completed a three-peat, winning 3 straight championships in 3 straight years. An exceptional achievement by Kobe Bryant. It's really funny that this happened in real life, of course, and he was able to get the job done here on NBA 2K24. Of course, Shaq wasn't happy about this. Kobe Bryant was able to get the job done here on 2K24, completing 3 straight NBA championships and winning, of course, 3 straight Finals MVPs as well, putting himself clearly in a list of his own. Kobe Bryant, though, wasn't done, as this still didn't satisfy him. He wanted to win as many championships as possible, but it was going to be very tough with the new additions of Dwayne Wade, as well as, of course, LeBron James now in the league. Kobe Bryant was once again dominant in the 2003-2004 NBA season, where he averaged 28 points, 6 boards, and 6 assists. He also led the Hornets to the first seed out there in the Eastern Conference, going 64-18 on the season. The Hornets found themselves once again in the NBA Finals, where they were taking on the Sacramento Kings. It was now Game 5 back at home. The Hornets were down 17 heading into the fourth quarter, and with that layup right there, Kobe Bryant led the Hornets back to the lead there, and of course it ended up leading them towards winning an NBA championship. Winning an NBA championship is of course very difficult, but now the Hornets, as well as Kobe Bryant, have won 4 straight championships. But Kobe Bryant and the Hornets were able to get it done. This team has been absolutely remarkable, and Kobe Bryant has clearly become the best player in the NBA at this current moment. 4 straight championships, 4 straight Finals MVPs. Is there anything that this man can't do? Well, next season though, despite the success, the Hornets decided to trade one of Kobe's best running mates on the team. The Hornets decided to trade Baron Davis to the Warriors, which is something Kobe was not thrilled about. As well as Baron Davis not being on the team anymore, Jamal Mashburn was injured for the entire season, meaning that it was really Kobe left on this Hornets squad. He was up to 35 points per game this year, but because the team wasn't that good, the Hornets finished as the 13th seed this year, meaning that things did not go as planned there for Kobe and the Hornets. But next year was going to be different though, as the Hornets decided to draft Chris Paul in the first round. Paul was an excellent playmaker, and the Hornets believed that a duo of him and Bryant would set up the Hornets for success for many years. Literally on opening night, Kobe put off that insane layup there, courtesy of the assist by Chris Paul. Later on the year though, the Hornets were the 5th seed going into the NBA playoffs there, taking on the Warriors. But unfortunately for the Hornets though, things did not go as well, as former teammate Baron Davis and the Warriors defeated the Hornets in 5 games. Kobe Bryant averaged 32 points per game this year, as well as 32 in the series, but it wasn't enough. There was a drastic change now heading for Kobe Bryant and the Hornets. Prior to the 2006-2007 NBA season, Kobe Bryant decided to change his number to 24. This shocked a lot of fans. Unfortunately though, it didn't translate to success for the Charlotte Hornets as a whole, despite Chris Paul averaging 21 and 10 this season, and Kobe Bryant up to 29 points per game as well. Things didn't go as planned for the Charlotte Hornets at all. They finished at 24 and 58 this season, meaning that big changes were coming next year. With new addition Peja Stojakovic now on the squad, the Hornets hoped that they would have an incredible season. Chris Paul, now in his 3rd year, took the next step forward in his NBA career, up to 23 points and 10 assists a game this season. Kobe Bryant was remarkable, of course, 29 points per game as well this season. The last 2 seasons didn't go as planned for Kobe Bryant and the Hornets, so the goal for this season was to come back and hopefully have a much better year. With Chris Paul now in all-star caliber form, let's see how it plays out. They were taking on Durant and the Supersonics in the first round there, a rookie Durant, but they were able to get the job done against him very easily. Kobe averaged 32 points per game in that series. Next round was Steve Nash, Stoudemire, and Shaq on the Phoenix Suns, a much tougher matchup for Kobe Bryant and the Hornets right there. Stoudemire was exceptional in the series. They literally couldn't find a way to stop him at all. Kobe Bryant though up to 32 points per game in the series, but luckily though, despite Stoudemire's success for the Phoenix Suns there and Steve Nash killer in the playmaking department, the Hornets were able to get the job done, beating the Suns in 5 games. Next round though, Kobe Bryant and the New Orleans Hornets had a tough matchup once again, taking on Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis, and Yao Ming of the Houston Rockets. Let's see if Kobe Bryant and Chris Paul can get the job done against them. T-Mac, just like years before when he was on the Magic, was putting up bucket after bucket, trading buckets with Kobe Bryant on both ends of the floor. Huge dunk right there for T-Mac. And Chris Paul though was killer in the playmaking department. 13 assists per game for Chris Paul there in the series, and once again, the Hornets, now led by Kobe Bryant and Chris Paul, were heading to the NBA Finals. They faced an unlikely opponent in this year's NBA Finals, that being as they were taking on Chris Bosh. The Raptors didn't make them any less challenging of an opponent though, as Chris Bosh led the Raptors in scoring with up to 31 points per game in this round. Kobe Bryant was exceptional as per usual, and literally in 5 games there, the New Orleans Hornets have won yet another championship. While the last couple years didn't go as planned for the Hornets as a whole, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul have led the New Orleans Hornets to yet another NBA championship. Now for Kobe Bryant, that's his 5th NBA championship. Absolutely incredible. He somehow didn't win Finals MVP this year, but it didn't really matter because Chris Paul averaged 29 and 10 in the NBA playoffs. The Hornets were back on top of the basketball world. Breezing through the NBA playoffs, the Hornets were taking on the Boston Celtics in the 2008 to 2009 NBA Finals. Kobe Bryant had won 5 championships so far, but this was going to be his toughest matchup yet against the Boston Celtics with a roster of Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and of course Rajon Rondo. The Hornets had their work cut out for them in the NBA Finals. Chris Paul took the lead in the NBA Finals this year, averaging 24 points and 10 assists. The Celtics were doubling Kobe Bryant literally on every single possession down the court, leading Chris Paul to take the lead for the Hornets, both in playmaking and scoring opportunities. Ray Allen hit a huge 3 right there in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, but with Chris Paul's dagger on that shot right there, the Hornets were able to come away with the victory, leading towards yet another NBA championship. Now with this championship against the Boston Celtics here in the 2008 to 2009 NBA season, Kobe Bryant has won 6 NBA championships in his career. In the 2009-2010 NBA season, the Charlotte Hornets were once again the first seed, going 64-18 on the year. There were talks of Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant becoming best duo in the NBA. In the NBA Finals, the Hornets were taking on Dwight Howard and the Orlando Magic. Unfortunately for the New Orleans Hornets at the time, Dwight Howard was absolutely killer for the Orlando Magic, and they had nothing that they could do to stop him. Kobe Bryant still got his points though, averaging 31 points per game in the series, but Dwight Howard was killer on the other end for the Orlando Magic, causing the Orlando Magic to win over the New Orleans Hornets here in the NBA Finals. Kobe was very upset with this, of course, as well as CP3, because despite all their hard work this season, the Orlando Magic came away winning the NBA championship this year. In the 2010-11 season, the Hornets finished as the 4th seed out there in the Western Conference. Kobe averaged 29 points per game this year, and Chris Paul was up to 27 points while also averaging 10 assists as well. So it was still an incredible season for this duo here for the Hornets. They were taking on the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA playoffs in the first round, but unfortunately for the New Orleans Hornets, Dirk and the Mavericks were far too much here in the 2011 season. They would later go on to win the NBA Finals this year, but first though, they were able to beat the New Orleans Hornets here in the first round. The Hornets owner and GM at the time didn't like where the team was going and made a shocking move that summer, going into the 2011-12 season as they traded Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Clippers. Kobe was not a fan of this move at all, of course because his longtime running mate there, Chris Paul, has now been traded to another team. Kobe Bryant still did very well this season, averaging 27 points per game, but the Hornets were absolutely awful. This started a downfall for the Hornets and they were never able to recover. Years later, Kobe Bryant was now on the Pelicans, which the team rebranded to, with the young Anthony Davis. They were a bottom team out there in the Western Conference for years on end, so Kobe's career didn't go as planned at the end, but either way, Kobe Bryant was still able to have an exceptional NBA career.
What can I say? Mamba out.